Our last speaker before lunch is Michelle Blair. She's the Regional Manager Southern Queensland for the Regional Arts Services Network, which has something to do with the Empire. So if you can explain that, that would be great. So please welcome Michelle.
So thank you very much for inviting me, and today I'm going to talk about the creative industries. So during this process today I'm going to take you through my creative journey, and I'll also outline what creative industries are, because a lot of people don't understand what they quite are. Also showcasing a little bit of what we've got in Toowoomba, and then obviously what the potentials are within the industry in Toowoomba and across the region as well. So my journey. Ice baby with a passion for fashion. This was how I was immortalised by my Year 7 cohort in our school yearbook. Not only did this acknowledge my taste in music, but it also showed that I was extremely aware of my creative passion and future career. Looking back, I was one of the lucky ones. I knew what I wanted to do for a career from a young age, which gave me purpose. My high school experience was very different for me. I knew what skills and OP score I needed to be accepted into the fashion course that would launch my career. I spent countless hours in the art room, drawing, creating and honing my skills. When at home, I was sewing, learning to pattern make and convincing my friends to let me make something for them. In my day, TAFE was the most prestigious program for fashion design in Queensland. I submitted a portfolio of my work that included countless sketches, photos and garments I'd been making for years. From the hundreds of submissions, I was one of the 20 students selected for the 96 intake. When I started my course, I finally found my people. I spent 3 years learning all I could about design, manufacture, marketing and business management. I specialised in menswear, mainly because of the models, with suit making being my specialty. A big part of our education was entering the RAQ Fashion Awards and other similar awards across Queensland. We were able to work with models and gain an understanding of the fast pace of fashion parades. My winning submission, which is actually the red and blue, to the Gold Coast Fashion Awards was created in my final year of study. It also was paraded at the RAQ Fashion Awards of that year. I graduated in '98 and the industry in Brisbane was really quite limited. There were a few higher end boutique businesses and a couple of well-known brands from the sports industry. I did entertain the idea of moving to Melbourne, where I knew more opportunities would have existed. But it felt like too momentous a move for so early in my career. So I spent the first few years of my working life performing administrative tasks and keeping production lines on time. I spent a lot of time in a van driving across Brisbane and the Gold Coast, from the cutter to the printer to the embroiderer to the maker and back again, for packing and distribution. I had my real taste of the industry and spent the following years working in production management for Nike, Puma, Canterbury, Billabong and Daniel Lightfoot. These experiences helped me realise that my real skill was in product and time management, and that I was very good at people management as well. I still miss designing, but I was able to fulfil this aspect in my personal life. Then I met my future husband and everything changed. We moved to Toowoomba. Unfortunately, there wasn't much of an industry for me, and I also had trouble with potential employers just not understanding the skill set I had. I was lucky enough to find HB Recruitment, who then assisted me in finding an admin role at RoadTech down southwest. So from the factory floor to road construction. It was a bit of a leap, but I spent almost 8 years with RoadTech and was still using my time and people management skills, as well as learning a lot about business management and government procedures. I got to a stage with RoadTech that I'd really learned all that I could, but something was always missing. I craved to go back to my creative roots. Something had finally snapped in me and I knew I wasn't listening to who I was really. I'd also had a couple of kids in the process too, which probably helped me snap. We were living in Roma at the time as well, and the local council had actually advertised an arts and culture role. It was a massive pay cut, and I felt like I was starting again. But it revived me and has led me full circle back to the work that I was meant to be doing. After 5 years with council, the Regional Arts Services Network was formed, and I knew it was my chance to move back to Toowoomba, closer to family and into a role that I could provide advice and support to other creatives. As the Regional Manager of the Regional Arts Services Network for Southern Queensland, I work across 16 regional councils to develop a network in partnerships with local councils, artists and arts orgs, and communities to foster, facilitate and promote the sustainable growth of regional arts across the state. With 4 service providers across Queensland, we deliver local arts services across the state that enhance cultural vitality, creating thriving communities and advance regional development and social priorities in alignment with the state government's Creative Together 2020-2030 roadmap. Also, as a side hustle, I have finally gone back to my fashion roots and I'm starting my own label. I'm currently in design development and pattern making, which, God, I haven't done for a long time. And I know why. So, what is the creative industries? According to the Australian Government, the creative industries involve the generation of creative intellectual property with the potential to be commercialised, and they include music and performing arts, film, television and radio, advertising and marketing, software development and interactive content, writing, publishing and print media, and architecture, design and visual arts. The Queensland University of Technology points out that the creative industries are innovation-led, knowledge-intensive and highly exportable, and make a larger contribution to GDP than a number of traditional industry groups. According to QUT, employment in creative industries is growing 40% faster than the Australian economy as a whole. Additionally, most jobs in the creative industries are actually support roles, like account managers and project managers, rather than core creative roles. This can pose a fantastic opportunity to be involved in the industry you love, while also saving your artistic tendencies for something outside of work. So, Toowoomba, we built this city. Now, this was the first song that came into my head when I saw the tagline. I don't know about anybody else. It may also show my age and the music that I loved. But so because it was the first thing that came to my mind, the song is by Starship, it was from the 80s, but the song was actually written to remind people that rock music was what first brought people to the city of LA. So that was the foundation for LA. In today's context, the creative industry is what keeps this city a vibrant and livable place. Toowoomba's creative industries is thriving. There are many small and large businesses that contribute to Toowoomba's economy, as well as 3 larger keystone institutions, including the Empire Theatre, the Toowoomba Regional Gallery, as well as the Cobb & Co Museum. Our future. The past few years have not been kind to our industry. The impact of the pandemic has been particularly felt in venue and site-based activities, such as theatre, live music, festivals, cinemas and museums. A collective sense of hope was felt in the industry on the 30th of January. During the launch of the National Cultural Policy, the Prime Minister stated, "Arts jobs are real jobs." I had a tear in my eye. I know many of my colleagues did, and I actually felt like ringing up my mother and telling her to stop rolling her eyes. I'm okay. We will be okay. Arts, culture and creativity unlock potential. They are tools for change and help us think differently. A wide range of creative, social and commercial outcomes can flow on from a well-executed original idea. A literary work can be adapted for stage, screen or immersive experiences. A musician can compose for games. A community-engaged theatre project can be part of the recovery in flood-affected communities. Art programs can make our hospitals more welcoming and more rewarding places to work. Visual arts and performance can deepen intercultural understanding across our region. Opportunities. Technology. I'm sure it's a regular theme throughout the day. It is providing new opportunities for artists in creation of their works as new outlets for their creativity and as a means of promoting and distributing their work. The world is getting smaller. Cutting-edge use of digital technologies produces network performances and cultural experiences. So you can actually be sitting at home and watching a piece from the New York Ballet across the world. It's fantastic. Actually, they do that at the theatre as well. You can actually sit at the Empire Theatre and watch a performance that's happening at QPAC for some selected pieces as well. So I love it. My techs are my favourite people. Arts for health and wellness. Art can help us to emotionally navigate the journey of battling an illness or injury, to process difficult emotions in times of emergency and challenging events. The creation and enjoyment of the arts helps promote holistic wellness and can be a motivating factor in recovery. Including the arts in healthcare delivery has been shown to support positive clinical outcomes for patients, while also supporting other stakeholders, including healthcare providers, the patient's loved ones, and the wider community. Benefits are seen across several markers, including health promotion, the management of health conditions and illness, and disease prevention. International. With the Toowoomba Enterprise Hub being one of the most significant transport, logistics and business hubs in Australia, offering the synergy of a central location encompassing an internationally capable airport, as well as a major multimodal freight on the western outskirts of Toowoomba, this just opens up the market for a raft of possibilities for the creative industries. From a fashion industry perspective, Toowoomba's got the potential to be a cross-section for sourcing material, natural fibres like cotton and wool grown in our regions. Then my big sky idea is, if anyone would like to fund me, is developing a mill. We don't have a lot of fabric manufacture in Australia. A lot of our cotton actually goes overseas and gets blended with other sources, but I would love nothing more than to know that my cotton has come from Southern Queensland, has been milled here, has actually been turned into a fabric here. Then we could have the actual manufacturing capabilities to cut, make, trim, and send it back out again. Full circle would be lovely. And within the industry, there is a lot of discussion about that full circle traceability as well of our fibres. I do know some of our guys are actually starting to work on that as well, and it's an ever evolving beast. But that's my personal passion. I would love to eventually myself have my own manufacturing done in Toowoomba rather than going to Brisbane. None of that China stuff for me. Brisbane 2032. This is obviously with the lead up to the Games. There's also capacity for Toowoomba creatives to be a part of a creative program that will commence in 2031. So some of these creatives could be existing or have yet to determine their career path. So our young people could actually be very much engaged in that creative program down the track. Cultural tourism is also a massive vital to our region to attract visitors and engage with our own communities. The development of these experiences can include many activities, including events and festivals, visiting museums, attending performance, creative weekends, specialist exhibitions, and so much more. The skills and capabilities of our creatives are among those least likely to be automated and are increasingly sought after. Research from the Australian Council for the Arts, the Australian Government's Arts Investment, Development and Advisory Body, shows that by having the opportunity and space to deeply develop their own craft and creative practice, artists and creatives develop transferable skills that bring great value to a wide range of settings and problems. Half of all Australian artists apply their creative skills outside the arts, with these transferable skills viewed as vital to business success and to solving complex problems. Employers have identified greater need for 21st century skills, creativity, originality and initiative, and analytical thinking and innovation. As we retool for jobs for the future, creative skills are becoming ever more valued. We cannot take their many benefits for granted. To nurture Australian arts and creativity and to reap the benefits across industry and the nation, investment is critical. Investment in professional arts and culture ignites creativity's engine room. It enables experimentation, risk-taking and innovation, and the development of careers, creative infrastructure, and sometimes new, unexpected pathways. Creativity is generative, it is adaptive, and it sparks new possibilities. It is not tied to one industry or form of practice, but it needs fertile ground to flourish. And that fertile ground is Toowoomba.